Eva. Welcome to the Growth Call, friends. Jen, you are going to take it away with our guest today on today's Growth Call, Ms. Rachel Bohack. How are you, Rachel?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here today.
Hi, Rachel. Just so everybody, if this is your first call, welcome to your first growth call. We do this every single Monday here at the region in New England. And my name is Jen Bovey. I'm the area director for New England. I'm accompanied by Brooke Silva, our regional tech trainer, and Tiffany Hampton, who is our regional productivity coach. So if this is your first Monday, like I said, welcome. You are in store for a great call. The first half hour goes super fast, and then Brooke takes it on after the first half hour and goes into a whole nother section of learning and technology, and you can't miss that part either. So I have the pleasure of interviewing Miss Rachel this afternoon. So Rachel, welcome to our call.
Thanks for having me. It's nice to see. I actually do know a lot of faces on the call, so that's always nice.
You know, I will tell you, they come on after 2 o'clock too. So you're going to see that tick up quite a bit, and hopefully a lot more of your friends join us as we talk here. So Rachel, tell us a little bit about yourself. When did you get into real estate, and when did you find Keller Williams?
Great question. So I originally got my real estate license in 2005. I was investing in multifamilies in Manchester, New Hampshire. I actually worked in the mortgage industry for several years before that collapsed, and was terrified of the idea of a commission lifestyle. So I never took the plunge to make it my career until 2017. They unceremoniously fired me from my job, and they eliminated my position, as they like to say. And I couldn't bear to go back into corporate America. So I realized that if I worked as hard for myself as I did for every other company I ever worked for, I was bound to be successful in some way, shape, or form. So I made it my career in 2017. So I'm just finishing up my 7th year in real estate. And 2017 is when I hung my license with Keller Williams. And I'm not being, over dramatic. It really has changed my life.
Well, I'd love to dive into that a little bit more. So you said a couple of key things there that I want to kind of go back to. So I'm curious, how many of us on this call felt that way? You didn't want to change your career for a commission career, and that held us back for so long. I know a lot of people could relate. I got into the business at 22. I didn't know better. I didn't know that I was actually in a commission-based company when I started. Yeah, I know I talked to a lot of agents, and they hold themselves back from that. The other thing you said is, if I could work this hard for somebody that is giving me a paycheck, why can't I work for myself in that fashion? And I'd love to learn a little bit more about you, because what I hear is that you are top-notch, high-level leverage is what is helping you in your career. So now that we know, when did you get to Keller Williams? I'm sorry, what was that?
2017.
2017. So when you joined Keller Williams, what happened with your growth? Tell us a little bit about what happened from there. And which Keller Williams office are you with?
Yeah, great question. So I'm in a Metropolitan in Bedford, New Hampshire. I actually now have a mega agent office in Hooksett, New Hampshire, and I sit here with 2 full-time admin and 5 other sales members on the team. So 2017. I'm not sure what else you asked me in there.
Yeah, so what happened from 2017 to now? Tell us a little bit about your path.
Oh my gosh, how do I summarize this? Okay, so I think the reason that I've become so passionate about leverage is, one other fine detail from the time that I got fired is I had just gotten divorced, and I had 3 kids who were ages 2, 4, and 6 years old. And as everybody on this call knows, when you're starting out in real estate, it's a grind, it's a hustle. You're working 8 days a week, and I knew with my kids being the age that they were, that was not going to work for me. So I came to a decision in my first year, once I'd taken the litmus test of, okay, I've done enough transactions. I did 9 in my first half year of real estate. And then my first full year in real estate, I did 27 transactions. I'm like, okay, I know that I can be a real estate agent. And now what I have to do is find the balance in my world. And that came just very organically to me, because it was like, I can't work 24 hours a day and miss my kids being babies, really is what they were. So I came to the decision to hire my first full-time executive admin and knew that I was paying for the luxury of buying my time back. And that was my first step into what is leverage to me and why am I doing it? And so that was easy and very clear to me.
Wow. So I wish I had learned that earlier on in my career as well. So kind of just to back up again, just to kind of review. So when you got into the business, you said you did 27 transactions in your first year?
Yes.
Okay, so that's possible. Just for anybody on here who is brand new and wondering what that looks like, that's possible, correct? Can you tell us like maybe your top 3 things you did in your first year to be able to get 27 transactions?
Yeah, great. I just talked to everybody I knew to let them know that I made a career change. I know sometimes people are a little timid about doing that because they don't want to be seen as new, but the people who know and love you and support you want to support you. And so when you tell them you're pouring your heart into something new, that they do really want to support you. So kind of ironically, and this actually just happened today here in my Hooksett office, the daycare is just down the street that my children used to go to. And the woman walked in and she needed a stack of business cards because she's spreading my name throughout her neighborhood. But my first year in business, I had 4 transactions from the daycare center. And so I was just doing like small little marketing things to groups of people that I knew. So in that particular case, I would bring in like for every holiday, I would bring in, like a display thing of candy and a stack of my business cards, just letting them know. And then just being available if they just want to shoot the breeze a little bit about real estate when I'd be around to pick up my kids. And so, the other thing that becomes very easy is social media. And it doesn't have to be, I had a closing, I did this, I did that. It's just like, I did a showing, I hosted an open house. And then all of a sudden people are looking around and I was not, but they thought I was crushing it in real estate. And that creates what people are thinking of you. So honestly, and it's the same to this day, is just talk to people about real estate and let everybody you know that's what you do.
I love that tip. So hopefully everybody wrote that down. Keep talking to people in your own world. Like you're doing stuff in your world anyway. Use your world as a resource to get in front of people. Love that. Absolutely love that. So Rachel, you said that you hired your executive assistant. When did you make that decision?
It must have been like 1.5 years in, and I was at about the 30 unit mark, rolling 30 units in a given year. And that is also what the model suggests. That was also just kind of my safety spot. I felt like I had a good enough nest egg. I was ready to take that on. And, my OP is Bill Weidecker, and he made a great observation, which is you're not taking a risk of somebody's full year salary. You're really taking the 90-day risk to make sure you've hired the right person. And so whatever that is, whatever you're paying them in a year, chunk that down to a quarter of that. That's the risk you're taking because you're going to give this person 90 days to make a difference in your world. And the model also shows that when you hire the right person, they will double your business. And
did that happen? Did that happen?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I want to keep going on this because this is a big thing too, where a lot of people get stuck on is, oh my gosh, I have to support somebody else. How am I going to make sure that my income could support somebody else? So how did you handle that?
I think with the same determination of just deciding that real estate was going to be for me. And again, you have to look at your finances. We can't just be completely like optimistic and know that everything's going to happen well. You have to make sure you have a decent enough nest egg for your own finances, but then also a decent enough nest egg to take on, because this is going to be somebody else's livelihood. So whether that's, 3 months worth of savings for your business expenses, that would include their salary. As long as you're on track with that and you have that saved, I think that that's the right time to bring somebody into your world.
Excellent. So let's look at that a little bit more. So did you track your numbers a certain way? How did you pay yourself to then pay somebody else?
Yeah. So I'm not going to lie. You don't even know what to track. Or you're trying to learn the business. You're not like tracking everything the way you're supposed to, and you're going to grow into that person in time. So, I certainly wasn't tracking everything perfectly. I knew about what my expenses were. I did have like a business credit card, so I knew what those were costing me every month and knew that I had enough savings in the bank. Now, I think like many people, you end up just taking an owner draw when you're like a individual agent. So I knew that I would just be taking my owner draw out of.
So did you have an S Corp? Is that how you held your business, through an S Corp, LLC, or personal?
LLC?
Okay, great.
LLC, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did use, I mean, I bounced around, but right now I'm just with ADP to do payroll for my salaried employees, and they take care of all that headache and bookkeeping and everything that I don't want to learn how to do. And that is money well spent.
That's amazing. So here we are, right? So you decided to hire an executive assistant. You figured it out as far as what it would look like for expenses. How did you figure out what they were going to do on the day-to-day level for you? Like, how did you train them and figure out that?
So I don't know if I was great at this at the beginning, but I will say what I've learned over the years, and I'm happy to pass on to people, is I think as agents, we often want to give somebody this really hard project that we didn't want to tackle ourselves. That's like really is going to draw on all the things that we've already learned from all these different sectors. And we can't actually possibly expect that somebody is just going to be able to step into our world and take on this major project. So what I've learned is that duplicatable tasks are what we should teach people, and or identify the things that you're not good at or you don't want to do in your world, and that can be trained to somebody else. But it has to be a trainable thing. And now they'll grow into somebody who can take on big projects. But initially, have them clean out your email, have them book your showings, have them print your listing sheets before you go out on your showings, have them manage your calendar, check all your appointments before you go to make sure everybody's still on board with them. Enter your MLS listings. And then how do you leverage not having to train them on every single thing? Utilize the videos that you watched. Have them watch those. When you do a training, I always train on Zoom, even if we're in the same building, so that it's recorded and somebody can go back and rewatch it. So I don't have to train something. So even if my person has to move on for some reason, I got a backlog, and I don't have to have a handwritten manual. Somebody can go back and watch the video of what we've already trained. And being Keller Williams agents, I can direct everybody, when you hire somebody and they're going to be your EA, and you've, maybe gone through the career visioning process and KPA'd them, put them through Ignite. Let them understand what it is going to be like to be a real estate agent, so they have an idea of what our overall challenge and goal looks like, so they have some understanding of what we're trying to accomplish.
This is so valuable, and I hope people are taking notes and then go back and watch this recording, because she just dropped so many great things, including how many of you thought to yourself, oh my gosh, how amazing would that be to have all of that off of my plate, from printing the listing material out to checking your email to responding to all of that is so exciting. And then once you release that from your world, do you ever want it back, Rachel?
No, in the mental release for like getting so many small tasks off of our brain, it allows you to focus either on more complex tasks or like improving the things that maybe you're not as good at. So like whether it's your listing presentation or objection handlers or all those other things that require intensity, if you can get rid of the busyness and the distraction from your world, it actually kind of opens up different opportunities for you.
Well, I could have this conversation go on for a long time, because you really are providing a ton of value. We don't have that much time. So just a couple of quick things. What is your top nugget you could share with everybody on this call to be able to get to where you started from to where you are right now? And you said it simply before, you don't have to know it all. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to have all the checks and balances and everything ready. Just start it. What is your other like big nugget that you could share with everybody on how to do what you're doing?
So I think what leverage really, really boils down to is what your value is dollar per hour. And some of it is luxuries a little bit in the beginning, like inexpensive things you can offload, like sign installation or maybe a pay-per-use transaction coordinator. Those are small dollar value things that you can free up. Now, if you're freeing up your time just make sure that you're actually investing it back into your business so that you are either lead generating or doing lead follow-up or doing those high dollar per hour producing activities, because that is literally the essence of why we have leverage. And some of it is buying back our time. We need that. We need to not work 8 days a week. But make sure that when you're offloading some, you're not just like cutting out early for the day, that you're using that time to reinvest and improve your business. The last thing I would say is not everything in leverage is just a person. So leverage is anything that creates more time for you. And so, again, just kind of being put on the spot, there's 2 things that I would focus on. And I promise Brooke didn't tell me to say this, but one thing is something like command, right? It's already in your KW fee. So use it. Use every bell and whistle. And let's not lean back on, I'm not a tech person. Like, it's all doable. I promise it is all very learnable activities, and it's essentially free. So you have this piece of leverage that can communicate with your database. And I was just on a training with Gary Keller, literally Friday, and he said, the key to being a millionaire is having a millionaire's database. And all of us have that accessible to us. And then one last thing, I can't help myself. I'm sorry. I cannot stand going into stores. So I live and breathe by Amazon Prime. So for $100 a year, I bought back thousands of hours of my life going to stores for my children and getting just the right thing of this and that. So Amazon Prime, these are just little examples of leverage to get time back into your life. I have hundreds.
You know what? We would love to have you back as a guest. If you wouldn't mind, we could schedule that with you, because I know that there's so much more that you provide for value with us into this group. So thank you so very much for being here with us. I had a lot of fun doing this. Maybe we could do this, a separate call for about a half hour or so to dive a little bit deeper in, because I think there's so much here to unpack. So Rachel, thank you very much. Hopefully I'll see you Wednesday evening.
Yes. Yeah. Happy to be here.
Great. All right, stay on. We're going to, for the next 15 minutes or so, we're going to do some content stuff. We're going to give away a prize at the end. We do it every time. And yeah, please give some love to Rachel in the chat there. If you wrote down something that you're like, yes, I'm going to implement. Yes, that's something I'm going to do. Give Rachel some love there in the chat. And Brooke, let's take away the content. Let's start it.
You got it. Let's get that content up. And again, if this is your first call, we provide this to you via email from the region. And also it's on our Facebook group. I will pop that link up again after, but all of this comes to you in multiple places. Again, the Facebook group is probably the easiest because we permalink it at the top. It is always pinned to the top, a click and you're there and you got the calendar. So this week, guys, there is a social media holiday for everything. And it is, if you know me at all, you should know the silliness that lives in this world. These crack me up. And today it is no different. Tuesday is on a stick day. Anything on a stick day. Like you name it, it's on a stick. You want something sweet, it's on a stick. You want your green bean on a stick, your green bean's on a stick. Everything on a stick day. But what a great day to find out where people in your community like to enjoy things that may come on a stick, such as popsicles, kebabs, mango and tahini. I mean, you name it, put what you like in the comments. We are huge kebab people in our house. If it can go on a kebab, I'm happy to eat it with feta and in a pita. I love Mediterranean food. What do you like to eat on a stick? Jalapeno. I was waiting for someone to make that joke. I was waiting. Thank you, Ed. It was the first thing I heard in my head as well. I see you, Jenny. I see you giggling. Like, I knew this is going to be great. Can't wait to see what people say on your own community pages. I have had, and don't leave out the hashtags. Friends, one of the things I do is I'm watching the trends to see which ones are working and which hashtags are hitting hard. The other thing it does is it tricks the Facebook algorithms into thinking a topic is important in our region. So your posts will get seen more because it's reading a public page and saying, wow, people at KW New England are really impressed by any food on a stick. And we should be showing these posts to more people. So there's a reason behind what we do. Jen, what do you like on a stick? Kebabs, mozzarella?
I don't know. I was thinking, I'm like, I don't really know what I like on a stick. I guess, I mean, I'm not a huge cotton candy, but if I were to think of something, maybe. cotton
Yeah.
candy.
Yeah. Satay, cotton candy steak. Danny, if you could explain a little more in your question, we'll come back to that in the chat after. All right. Wednesday. I love color inspiration. Growing up, I lived in a generational home with my grandmother, and she was one to switch out the curtains, the tablecloth, the doilies, all the decor in our house growing up. So we always had seasonal changes, and she always picked a color. My grandmother was an artist. My whole family were stained glass artists, different painters. So I love color so much, and your community does as well. So spring has sprung and the signs are everywhere. Do you seasonally decorate your home? Check out this spring color inspiration from Design Seeds. Where would you use these colors in your home? And we give you the link to Design Seeds so you can actually send them so they can also look for more design choices. And yes, the hashtags are clickable, but only when you paste them into the social media. So that was one of the questions. Why aren't those hyperlinks? They're only hyperlinks when you add them to Facebook. And that's how I pop around and look at what everybody's doing. I always put one very custom one in there. Jen, do you change your house out seasonally?
Have you been to my house? No, I don't.
And I learned to stop bringing you plants. I did learn that. I like
no.
when I come down to visit, I like to always bring like a little mums or little tea roses. No. We bring fake plants now, artificial plants.
I don't know. I tried.
It's okay. And then for this or that, who's got a green thumb? It's not Jen. Put a thumbs up if you have a green thumb. If you are an artificial plant lover, put your thumbs down because we are asking people, what are they planting this year? I know in my house, spring planting has begun. I have an herb garden that I love. I love planting plants, flowers, veggies. My veggies are not going to happen this year. I'm okay with it. But are you a seasoned gardener or is this your first spring planting? There is a lot of hard words to pronounce in that. That was a tongue twister. For this or that Thursday, do you prefer to have a veggie garden or flower garden? Both have their benefits, from beautiful blooms to delicious produce. Put your preference and photos of any past gardens in the comments below. How many of you are veggie gardeners? Even herbs. I will count herbs as, yeah, you have them on your windowsill. That counts. That counts.
I have one of those lettuce grows where it's like
Yes.
a tower and it does it for you. I still mess that up, by the way.
No.
How? I don't know. I mess it up. It's okay. I love it. I will tell you, this is where I would use leverage at the highest ability I can, Rachel, because I cannot keep anything alive in the garden or flower beds. So leverage me up.
I also love plants that come back every year in my garden. And I've set my yard up in a certain way so that from spring through fall, things just bloom when they're supposed to. So all I'm doing is weeding and adding a couple little, flowers that makes my daughter happy, to add some pops of color. But I try to make my flowers as easy as possible. And local garden centers, talk to them because they may have some tips and tricks for you to share with your community on how to get the best out of veggies or flowers this year. So that's one of my favorites. I love to grow all the things. All right, friends, get into conversation. I'm trying to see if they're on. Last week, one of our friends at Legacy Partners in Connecticut had 18 organic comments on one of her growth call posts. And she was in there. It was the 10K. You have 10K to work within your outdoor space outside of your home. And she was asking questions. She was giving referrals. She was asking for emails to send referrals. My growth call brain was so happy for her because the amount of interaction on that one post. When you comment back, just make sure you're @symboling, and she did that. @symbol them so that they see that you're responding to them on the post. Any questions?
Are you gonna bring up my stuff, Brooke?
Did I go right by it? I did. Oh, I'm a jerk. It's because it's so new.
I didn't say no love here.
Wow. I forgot about it. Well, don't forget, we have productivity actions now that we started a few weeks ago with Tiffany. Tiffany, go ahead, and then we'll pick our winner.
All right, so 3 MOFers this week, making offers for immediate response. Brooke, there's a couple of actions in each one of these MOFers. Brooke's going to go through them during the second half of this call. So the first one, it's spring. Many of our clients, friends, and families are starting to get their homes ready for spring and summer. With that comes the need for service providers and contracts. Who do you know that does roofs, landscaping, I know, home repairs, etc. that I should know? Would love to refer business their way. Fill out this form or DM me to make the connection. And that form is the business side of the inner circle with a few little changes. The second one is for buyers looking for the best priced homes. Access, and put a question mark on that for me.
Yes.
Access homes that have had a price reduction over the past 7 days. Click the link below. Brooke is going to show you how to do that link. If
So
selling
easy.
homes is selling your home on your mind, DM or call me to receive the 5 steps to take when preparing your home for sale. And then there's a sample of the 5 steps. Can you go up to the 90 days to cap playbook? So this is your productivity action for the week. This was shared with me a couple of months ago, and I found it in my computer, and I was like, oh, this is a great share for you guys. Essentially, this is all the activities that you can do. So 5 sphere of influences, 5 homeowner surveys, 5 drop-in conversations, 5 handwritten notes, and 5 social media DMs. But we didn't just tell you what to do. There's also, if you go through all these pages, there's actual conversations around it. So this is yours, take it. Here's the math, which if you pay attention to the math, in 2022, there were 332 million people plus in the United States, of which 65% of them are homeowners. In 2021, there were 6.1 million homes sold, which means 2.79% of existing homeowners sold in 2021. So if you play with the math, you can figure out that by just staying in touch with people, you have the opportunity to get 36 sales and 36 buyers. So this was a great little cheat sheet with everything you need. If you just took action on this, you would increase your business.
I love it, even though I blew right by it because it's just not in my brain. I need to add it to a link there. These are incredible playbooks, and they're still part of the growth. So they're right after the calendar for you in the playbook, your growth calendar playbook. These will be posted. They're already out there. You will also get an email after the call from the region that says, here are your growth call resources. And our favorite part, we get to give away stuff. So we are giving away your first home. And if you stay on the call, I also have the resources for you around this book. So you have an easy button when it comes to setting up your first time home buyer, or are you buying a home this year seminar? So
Can I just talk about that for one quick second?
Yes.
About first-time home buyer seminars. If you do not have this on your list because you're just not comfortable speaking in front of a large group of people, set it up online. There are so many buyers right now that just want to know how. We have the full presentation completed for you. It's a plug and play. It is you just learning the presentation, which actually helps you talk to your clients better. And then you could give them this book, which is very valuable. So if you haven't done your 411s of what you're going to be doing to build your database, your whatever it is, add the first time home buyer. I will tell you, I started in 2001 and I was presenting first time home buyers for the first few years of my career at American Power Conversion here in Rhode Island. And that has led to many, many, many referrals throughout the years just from hosting those. Now it will take time to get your momentum up. So don't get discouraged if you only have a couple of people at your first one. It will grow. Stick to it, add it to your plan if it's something that you haven't done yet.
And They tell you exactly who should be there and what they should say. All right, today's winner is Becky Bernardi. Did I say the last name right? I feel like we are like the queens of botching last names. Are you here, Becky?
I definitely am.
Uh,
Becky, you here? You have to
I-
be here to win.
I'm looking. Becky. Going once. We have a backup. Somebody go poke her. She in the market center? Go poke her.
All right, we gotta pick a second.
All right. Let me see. Hold on. The list was sent to me. Hold on. McKenna Maya. Are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, McKenna. Oh,
Brooke.
it's McKenna from New Hampshire.
Yes.
Well, congratulations. I know this is not your first growth call. I will connect you after with the region and we will get that book out to you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Brooke.
You're
I-
welcome.
Congratulations, McKenna. And I absolutely have to thank our guest today. Rachel absolutely did a phenomenal job providing a lot of great content. Go back and rewatch this episode, by the way, guys. It was great.
You got it. All right. I'm going to stop the recording and then we're going to restart it.